So I did skip a few questions, just clean up a few of these, then we'll move on to inverses. So there are some questions here that we did not do, like 13, which we might as well talk about. I think we actually did this one last time, previous lesson. So 13 here, it says, in a Northwest Washington County, the speeding fines are determined by the formula f of s equals 9, parentheses s minus 65 plus 35, where f of s is the cost in dollars of a fine caught for a person speeding s miles per hour. Fine comes to a total of $215. How first was the person driving? So you've got to figure out, is this s or is this f of s? And sometimes the units are the easiest way to figure it out here.
Miles.
Is it dollars or is it miles? And I mean, someone could be driving 215 miles per hour, but that's pretty fast on a a regular road. So that is the fine. So that is over here. We're setting the equation equal to 215. And then we're solving for s. Okay, so to do that, I don't know why I have this extra parenthesis here. That's completely wrong. All right, solving this, you want to subtract 35 from both sides. 180 equals 9 times s minus 65. Divide both sides by 9. 20 equals s minus 65. And then you add 65 to both sides. So pretty healthy speeding here. 85 and a 65. You need an excuse like you're taking your pet to the animal hospital or something, I guess.
65. 85. 5. Okay, so that's just you got to figure out what it is and then just solve it all the way down.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
So we're gonna move to inverses now. We're gonna start with 21, so it's kind of the nicer grouping of questions, and we'll go back to like 20 and then do 22. Actually, no, we are not going to do that. We are going to do 23 first. That leads into this. So I'm just scrolling through this to see, like, because they're not in any like helpful order. Like there's an order to do these where you can actually learn something, but they don't have that. So let's do 23 and then we'll go back and actually do some of the inverses. 23 kind of is a introduction into certain things here. So let's look at part A. On 23, it says find f of 3. So why don't you help me out here? What does that 3 mean? Is that
it's the input, right?
Yes.
And then go to is it 9?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Now part B is the reverse. This time in part B, they're giving you the output. They're telling you that 4 is the output. They're really asking, what is the input?
Okay, so is it okay? So I just go to f of x and then it's 5.
Yes.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Now you might think, well, what if there's more than one? Well, there shouldn't be. So, and that's if you read in the top there, it says assume f of x is 1 to 1. That's what that means.
So if the number's outside is equal, it's inside, and if it's the parentheses, it's okay. I get it.
Okay. Part C and D are these inverse things. So this will be probably further confusing, but we'll try it out here. So normally the number in parentheses is x, but because it's f inverse, it's now y. So you go to the output and look for y, and it ends up being 3. So that little -1 makes all the difference. It means instead of it being x, now it's y.
That's only if it's -1?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, now the last one there, D. D. So again, normally this is Y,
Hmm.
but because it's F inverse, it's now,
Okay.
so you go to 5.
That's 4.
It's
Okay.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't make the rules. These are just, you got to play by the rules here.
That's
It's
not,
confusing. I mean, this is standard X, that's Y, but then these are flipped.
yeah, just flip it.
All right. We're going to go back to 21. All right, so 21, the instructions say to determine the inverse for the function. So there is a formula, there's a recipe. I don't know if you like cooking, baking, but you got to do these steps in order. So the first thing is you replace f of x with y. So it becomes y equals 10x plus 15. Not too bad. Most people could do that. Second step is to switch x and y. So wherever you see a y, you put an x. Wherever you see an x, you put a y. So this ends up being x equals 10y plus 15. Third thing, this is the hardest one of the steps, is to solve for y. You have to get y by itself.
Okay. So,
This is where this is where the bulk of the work is. So to do this, and sometimes it doesn't give you anything that you really like, but that is okay. You're going to subtract 15 from both sides, and then I'm just going to swap sides. So 10y equals x minus 15, and then you divide by 10. So y is equal to x minus 15 divided by 10, the whole thing. So if you're entering this in there, you might have to put parentheses around there. Final step 4 is to replace y with f inverse of x. So the correct notation, especially if you're doing this on a pencil and paper test, is this.
oh, yeah. All right.
So you might think, hey, I've got it, no big deal. And then you recognize that problems B, C, and D have different functions. So they're a little bit harder. Okay, so this one is g of x equals x cubed minus 2. Does that look right to you?
Mm-hmm.
So you're at y equals x cubed minus 2, then you switch x and y. And now we're going to solve for y. And if you need to get caught up on stuff, you can go out to the internet. There's a million calculators for these, but they don't really help you with the steps. You're going to add 2 to both sides. And then I'm going to switch sides here. Y cubed equals x plus 2. So this is where it's like, well, how do you undo a cube? How do you undo a cube is the question. The answer is cube roots. So it's the cube root of both sides. So y equals the cube root of x plus 2. Now, if you're not sure how to enter that, you can also do it this way. It's really x plus 2 to the 1/3 power, like that.
Okay.
This is one of those times where it's probably better on pencil and paper because you just write this. You don't have to worry about how to enter it. Any questions, thoughts on that before we move on to the next one?
No, you just gotta switch it and then rewrite it.
Yes. All right, so this one, again, didn't really format well, but so please tell me if this is right. Is it 10 over x plus 2?
Yeah.
The same steps, same exact steps. Y equals 10 over x plus 2. X equals 10 over y plus 2. This one's harder to solve. So this is going to require some different steps here. And you want to know the recipe for each one. So you're going to multiply both sides by the bottom y plus 2, which does cancel out the bottom. On the left here, you're going to distribute this x into both. So it becomes xy plus 2. Sorry, no, that's not right. We're not doing that in this problem. Which there was a rewind button. Okay, so we have y plus 2 times x equals 10. The reason that you don't distribute in is you only have one y.
Okay.
So you divide by x. That clears that out. So you have y plus 2 equals 10 over x. Subtract 2 from both sides. Y equals 10 over x minus 2, and that's your inverse.
Okay.
Okay, so occasionally I'll do some stuff out of order here. We're going to come back to D, but we're going to go to 20 because 20 is like the one we just did. Okay, here's 20. Not formatted well, so let me rewrite it. I believe it's this 5 over x plus 13 plus 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this, you can see this kind of looks like the last one. We're going to start it out by writing 5 over x plus 13, switching x and y. Now this time, instead of multiplying by the bottom, you have to get rid of this plus 4 first by subtracting 4. So this is x minus 4. Okay, and now you do the same thing. You multiply both sides by the y plus 13. And you can see that those cancel. And you resist the urge to FOIL. You definitely do not want to FOIL here. It looks like you should, but you don't need to. You end up just dividing both sides by the x minus 4. Those cancel on the left. So you end up getting y plus 13 equals 5 over x minus 4. And then you subtract 13 from both sides. Y equals 5 over x minus 4 minus 13, like that. Definitely would recommend practicing a few of those on your own.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go back to D on 21. Actually, no, we should do, you should try, let's have you try 22 now. I think it's, we'll get back to D. But this is 22. And I guess this is formatted as 2 over 3x like this plus 13. Does that
Mm-hmm.
look right to you? All right, why don't you try finding the inverse on this one? Chance to see where you're at. If you have any questions.
All right, I think I got it. I'm not too sure though.
All right, tell me,
Oh, I
tell
did
me what
get
you got.
that.
Oh, you checked it already. Excellent. Even better. All right, so that's great. Let's do D,
I just forgot
21D.
I forgot where. So I have to put f of x instead of x
You don't have to
equals.
do anything.
Okay.
Just you just have to put the right side, whatever your answer is over here in the box.
Okay, because I accidentally
Do
put
you need me to check it or do you feel like you've got it?
the x equals. I
Okay.
got the 2/3. I just didn't put the x over there on the bottom. That's why I got confused. So it's f of x.
Let me know when I can go on to
You
21
can go on
part
the
D.
21.
Okay. So you'll have to again kind of just confirm this is the way it's written. It looks like it's
Oh, the
I actually have
print.
no idea. Is it the cube root of x plus one like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Just like before, you switch x and y. This is a cube root. So you undo a cube root with a cube. So you cube both sides of the equation. And so I'm going to swap sides here again, but it's y plus 1 equals x cubed. And then you subtract 1 from both sides. So you end up getting y equals x cubed minus 1. That's your final answer. All right, so I was looking ahead here. My recommendation is for us to finish up any questions 1 to 23 that
Okay.
we've not done. Um, we're definitely not going to get through all this today. So I mean, it's like, well, maybe we ought to just go back and do some of the ones that we missed, but that is up to you. We can also just go on to new stuff here, starting at 24, 25, 26. What would be best for
You
you?
just do the new stuff. Just keep
All
going.
right, sounds good. So I'm going to skip 24 for the moment. It's kind of confusing to explain at first until we get into this other stuff. I've kind of been seeing a pattern here where they like give you a really hard question and they actually jump into the stuff that's like more of the build up, the preliminary stuff. So 25 has this wonderful graph here, looks like a V, and then it asks a bunch of questions here. It asks for domain and range and stuff like that. So we're gonna start with domain and range. Domain is the set of X values. Okay, so the X values here. So it's basically like how far left to how far right. And how far left does this go? Well, it looks like it goes up forever, but it also goes left forever. Same thing over here on the right. It looks like maybe it just goes up forever, but it's actually going to the right forever, minus infinity to infinity. And infinities always have parentheses with them. This is kind of your go-to on domain and range if you don't know what to do.
Left to right.
Yep. Range has got some other words that go along with it. It is the Y values. You can think of it as min to max, bottom to top, low to high. I don't know. If any of those resonate with you, use those. So, but it's the Y values. The smallest Y value is right there. What's the Y value there where my cursor is or where I am?
-1
-1. And then how far up do these go?
to infinity.
To infinity. Now I said before, infinities always get parentheses.
Mhm.
Because -1 is included, use a bracket.
Use a bracket.
Yes, because it's included. This bracket means included. Parentheses means up to, but not
Oh,
including.
okay. So, okay, I see.
And
It,
and if you're wondering like, well, what's infinity? It's like a destination that you can never get to.
yeah.
So that's why you only approach it, you never get there.
So open brackets just if it's in the graph.
if it's included, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's do parts C and D. And these require some words. So the first one, C, is decreasing. Decreasing. So decreasing means going down and to the right. In the English language and math, we always go left to right. So you look at it from left to right. You know, you can imagine you're standing there, you're sliding down.
Okay.
So it says open interval, and these are x values. So it's how far left does it go? Minus infinity to what is the x value there?
Infinity.
And it's 3.
To one to three. Oh, to 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the x value. The x value.
Okay.
All right. Now you don't care about the y. I know it's like really easy to like focus on the y, but you don't care about the y. The next one is increasing. If you like to hike, you can think of increasing as when you're walking uphill. Again, it's the x values. So it's
Just the
increasing,
X.
always the x values on increasing and decreasing, up and to the right.
Up to the right. Up and to
And that's increasing from 3 to infinity.
infinity.
And if you've been hiking, this analogy is reasonable. Like you're actually always going uphill or downhill when you're hiking. It's rare
Mm-hmm.
when you're ever going flat. Like even though you might feel like it's flat, it's not. Like it's uphill, downhill. There's always a slight gradient to it. But um, any questions, thoughts on that?
No, it's not too hard. Just remember that it's just the X, not the Y.
Yeah. Now I'm just looking to see if there's any more increasing, decreasing. Yes. The increasing, decreasing is typically the harder thing for students to do. We're going to do that, a couple more of those, then we'll go back and talk about domain and range. Um, this is 30. Looking at next.
Ooh.
All right. So you got to identify the peaks and the valleys. Peaks and the valleys. So you can see the peak there is at -1 and the valley is there at 3. Again, it's the x values that we care about. The x values, not the y. Can't emphasize that enough, but that's typically where there's a
That makes
problem.
sense. Okay.
So again, if you want to draw a little stick figure, it's like, all right, what's going on there? Well, you're climbing uphill, that's increasing.
Mm-hmm.
It's increasing from minus infinity to -1. That's the first interval here on the left. But you're also increasing over here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the x value,
So
3
3
to,
to positive infinity.
right. And it's positive infinity because it's to the right forever. It doesn't matter that
Yep.
that's going up forever. It's only the x values. It's decreasing in the other interval. Like the one there, it's like if it's not increasing, it must be decreasing, or if it's not decreasing, it must be increasing. But you can see that from the x value, it's -1 to 3. You know, you're going downhill
It's negative
like that.
1, 3. Okay. Oh yeah, it's only downhill. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Okay, let's go back and do some domain and range stuff now. A little more domain and range. So we're going back 26, 26 here. All right. The
Oh, I remember
domain,
these. Oh.
the domain, again, domain is the x values, range is the y. What is the leftmost x value?
The -2.
-2. What is the rightmost y
The
value?
right 1.
Okay, now which is included? Is -2 included?
I think since it's closed, yes.
Yep. So those go with that symbol there. 1 is not included. It goes with
Parentheses.
that symbol there. Infinities go with the one on the right. Things like that. Now the range is the min. What's the smallest y value? Y
Negative
value.
2.
Nope. That's the x. What's the y value there?
The Y. 0.
0. What's the largest y value? The peak,
The 4.
max.
The 4.
4. Now, does it include 0? Like, is it solid at 0?
No. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it's closed on 0, yeah.
Right. And then at 4, is it solid there? Yeah. Is that okay?
Yes.
It's a classic test question, something like that. Definitely going to see something like that on there. All right, let me go on to 27. Snip this in pieces. Domain and range again. So you got to be really, really solid on this. So here we go. Domain, and you sometimes got to add arrows. You'd be like, all right, like they're not drawn on the graph.
There,
This
there.
goes, they're there. All right. Um, yeah, it's like if you're on a road with no speed limit, it's like, yeah, there's a speed limit. Just
No.
domain is X.
Mm-hmm.
How far left does this go?
It goes all the way to
It goes
infinity.
left forever. It goes left forever to negative infinity, even though
Mhm.
it doesn't look like it. Like it looks like it goes more up than to the left. It still is going left forever.
Left. Okay.
How about this over on the right? I know it's going up forever, but is it going to the right forever? Yes, because if there's
Yes.
any movement to the right, okay. All right, range. What is the smallest y value? What is the smallest
Smallest.
y value?
Is it 0? Wait.
0 is down
Oh,
here.
where's the Y? Oh, it's above. It's I don't know, 3?
3. It's 3 included.
Yes.
How far up does it go?
Uh, to negative infinity.
Negative infinity is down here.
Oh, oh, does it go to positive?
Yes. I mean, you might see anything like that. So, you have to be very, very clear, that like if this were multiple choice, you might see multiple wrong answers there. Any questions that before we move on to 28?
No.
Okay. So 28, this one just asks for the domain.
So
So you can
just
see this one's
asks.
broken up.
Mhm.
This one's broken apart. Like the one on the left, the graph on the left here. Oh, I didn't mean to put this in that order. Um, it does go that way and that way. So in this first like sort of piece, the first sort of piece here, how far left does this go?
To infinity.
Negative infinity, left, like left,
Negative.
negative infinity. And then it stops here at the x value. Remember, domain is x values. I only care about the x values. What are the x value there?
2. Negative 2.
-2. Not included and not included. Okay, now, but wait, there's more. Okay, there's another x value here, which is 2 to infinity. Now, is the 2 included? Yes. Now, whenever you have 2 or more intervals, you have to put this union operator in between, which is like why there's why there's maybe you'll see that on there.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember
okay,
that for a little bit.
okay. Let's go to 29. 29, domain and range.
Oh,
Okay, let's do the domain again. Start with domain. So that goes left, that goes up, that goes down, that goes right. Again, like maybe it helps to kind of like draw some things like, okay, that's minus infinity, that's positive infinity. This goes up to infinity, this goes down to negative infinity. Maybe that helps.
okay.
Not sure. So the domain is the how far left, how far left is this going?
Negative infinity.
It's going to negative infinity. Now, it's broken apart here by this red line. Like, what is the x value there at that red line?
2.
2. Now it does not include it because that red line, it approaches, but never gets to
touches.
the two.
Oh,
Exactly. But then it restarts at the two down, down here. It's kind of approaching it, but then how far to the right does it go?
infinity.
Infinity. And again, you put that union operator in the middle of them. All right, range.
Why?
Y values. How far down does it go? What's the smallest Y value?
The smallest is negative infinity.
Negative infinity. And then you can see it kind of comes up here, and what is the Y value that it approaches here? The Y value.
It approaches is it infinity?
Infinity's up here.
Oh,
So yeah, it does get there, but see how it's like broken apart, like it's
yeah.
going to the right. So what is the Y value that it's approaching here on the X axis?
Uh, This is 0.
Zero. It's approaching zero. So this is odd. It's weird. It's the Y value. You don't care that it's going to the right forever when you're looking at the range. You care about the Y value. Then it resets at zero. So it's approaching zero here on
Mhm.
the Y. And then how far up does it go?
To positive infinity.
Positive infinity, yeah. Now it's like you probably aren't used to hearing this, but it's okay if you don't understand this. You
Yeah,
do have to know how to write the
confusing.
answer. Like you have to say like, all right, when it's this thing, I know to break it up in the X with that vertical one and in the Y and that horizontal one. You have to be okay with that. Like you don't need to fully understand, you just need to know how to do.
How to do it?
And
Okay.
and like I can give you more examples like this, but you have to be totally comfortable with like how to write the answer. Not that you need to know how to do it, just know how to write the answer. And that's where when you hit that refresh again, I don't know
Just to
exactly what you'll
practice it.
get. Yeah, I don't know if it'll move it just left or right or up and down, but that'll give you another thing where you can kind of pattern it and you can
Okay.
be like, all right, when it's this, I know it's this. All right. So let's go to let's go to 31. Domain and range again. Why did that? Interesting. Okay. All right. Given the graph of the piecewise function defined below. Okay, there we go. That's going up forever. All right. So what do we got here? We got domain. So how far left is this going?
Yeah.
I know it's going down forever, but how
Down
far left does it go?
to infinity, negative infinity.
Negative infinity. So you start at negative infinity, and then where does it end in terms of the x value? The x
Negative
value.
2.
Negative two. Now, does it include negative two?
No.
No. Now, what's the next x value that you see?
Next x value is negative 1.
Is that included?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
And
bracket
then
it.
and then how far right it goes? What's the next x value?
Oh, so you go to the 0. Okay, 2. Okay, I see.
You always go down to the x. Yeah. Is that included?
No.
So you got to be really clear. Excluded. I know we don't like those words. Included. All right. Union. Now we go to the next x value. What's the next x value that you see? X,
5.
x, x. 5 is 5 included?
It's close, so it is
It is.
bracket.
And then how far? I know it looks like it goes up forever, but how far to the right does it go?
Positive infinity?
Positive infinity. Yeah. There you
Okay.
go. And I guess you don't need the positive in there. Okay. Range.
Now it's just
Range.
y.
What is the smallest y value that you see? How
And
far?
is it negative or is it always gonna be negative infinity?
Well, not always, but how far down does this go?
Negative infinity.
Negative infinity. Okay. Now it looks like it stops at 4, right? You're like,
Mm-hmm.
4. But then do you see how this next one covers it? It goes from 4 to 5.
Yeah.
And this one goes 5 up forever. So like it's fully saturated. Like it's um there is even though there is a jump, um every y value is continued because if you could sort of imagine like the overlap, like this first one goes up and then this next part it keeps going and then this last one it goes up forever. It
Okay,
essentially
it's
is is fully saturated, which is positive infinity.
Yeah.
Any questions, thoughts on that?
No, just gotta remember the X and then just the Y.
Yeah. All right, so C and D are next. These are increase and decrease. So we'll do C first. All right. Okay, C, intervals of increase. So increase we talked about before is going up and to the right.
Up to the
Okay.
increase.
So in this, and you can kind of draw a little person. Are they going uphill? Yes.
Yes.
We want the X values now. The X values
Just
for increasing. So it's minus infinity to what for the first one?
is it -2?
Yes.
Okay.
Comma, this time it's comma instead of union.
Okay, comma.
What is the next set of X values where you're increasing?
Okay, so we're going up here, so it's gonna be 2
X values, left to right.
uh, oh, -1 to 2.
Okay. And these are always open intervals, so
Okay,
they are always parentheses. Comma, the next set of X values is 5 to
infinity.
infinity. Okay. All right. Now, is it ever decreasing? Do you ever see it going down into the right?
Down to the right. No.
It's not a trick question. There's no place where that's happening.
So
So
undefined.
this, yeah, I don't know, D and E does not exist. All right, we're gonna come back to E and F, but we need to do a better example first, I guess. I don't, yeah, I prefer to do a better example. So there's one earlier. It's like 24, I think. Yeah. We're gonna go back and do 24 first.
Oh,
Okay. So let's do I know it's tough. Like doing this much math is painful. Maybe next time I only do 1 hour a day.
yeah.
It's a lot. Um, and yeah, we've got 10 more minutes. Up to you if you use the time, but I can get it. It's pretty wearing to do this. Um, so the function here, left end behavior, that means you're going to negative infinity. That's what left hand
Yeah.
behavior is. So that like left hand always goes with this. F of X is going to negative infinity. That means to the left forever. Sorry, this is not right. I'm giving you the wrong notation. As X goes to negative infinity. F of X goes to. So this is now the Y. It's saying like as you go to the left forever, what happens with the Y? How high up does this go? It goes to positive infinity. Now the right hand behavior is to the right forever. So this time it says X goes to infinity. So that means to the right forever. Well, what happens to the Y values when you go to the right forever? It
It's
goes to
positive.
infinity. Yeah. Now I have to be full disclosure here. Like it's sometimes the way these are written is this is flipped, where the F of X actually goes where the X goes. Like it could be. I'm not trying to confuse you, but I probably am. Like sometimes this box goes where this boxes go, or vice versa. I don't know the way your system is.
Okay.
So when you enter these in, you know that's one reason to check things while we're doing it, because you may find that I've done it wrong, and then you're it's not clear, but give that a try if you don't mind, and then we'll go back to that problem we were working on, which has more end behavior
Let me see if it
problems.
likes that. Left hand is X. Yeah, it likes that way.
Okay. Very good. So we'll go back to what number is it? 31, back to 31. And then you'll see that this has the same for E and F, the same sort of end behavior, left end behavior, right end behavior. And we'll fill those in. So left end behavior is as X
X.
goes to negative infinity. So basically as you're going to the left forever. So you traverse the curve on the leftmost part of it, and you're now looking for the Y values. Like what's happening to the Y value as you go left here forever?
It's
Like you're on
going
this
down
part, goes down, down forever is negative
infinity.
infinity.
Oh,
Then the right hand end behavior is to the right forever. Very predictable. You go to the rightmost portion of the curve and you imagine you're traveling there and you're like, well, what's going on? What happens as I'm going to the right forever? Well, your f of x is going to positive infinity
positive.
this time.
All right.
And,
It's not too bad.
I don't remember if you need the positives or not either. And yet there is one more little piece to this for part G. Not all questions are created equal. I think this one's 1 point. Is it? Yeah. I mean, 1 point and there's 7 parts. Yeah. Sometimes they're not all the same. Let me know when you get that. If you have any questions before we do part G.
No, I got it.
Got it. All right. Part G, it wants you to evaluate f of -3. So that means that x is -3. You go up till you hit it. Boom, right there. You go to the right. And they want you to estimate it to the closest 0.25. So your possible answers would be like 1, 1.25, 1.5, 1.75, 2. What do you say for that one?
But what was it? The closest to what?
It says to the nearest 0.25. Let me snip it in.
2.5. I was gonna probably go 2.
So to me, it looks like it's a little bit closer to 1.75. Give me just a moment, please. Actually, okay. Sorry, all good. Okay. Domain and range of the next one here, 32. Why don't you try this one on your own based on what we've done, just to see. Ask if you've got some questions, but see where you're at here. It's a tricky question. It's not as easy as some of the others, but you can do it.
So the X -1. -1 bracket. And the lowest y is it's -2. I don't get the y. It's like, is that like,
So give me the domain if you got that.
I think I got -2 with the uh
It's the
bracket
X
thing.
value. X values though. X was the
Oh,
X
so then
value there.
it was one. Oh, I did get, it was -1. Okay.
Now, is it included? Is -1 included? Is 3 included?
So the 3 has the parentheses and the 1 has the bracket.
-1 parentheses 3 has the bracket.
Oh, I got that.
Because of that filled in dot there and that there. Now the range is a little bit more difficult because when you see the min, you're like, okay, 2 and 2, but it's like it's included here, but not included there. So it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors. This covers that. Like this filled in one covers that. So
Okay.
it's -2 is filled in, maximum y value is 2, like that.
Okay.
All right. So that's as good a place as any to stop
Yeah.
here.